bad season, River of Deceit. Alright, so we'll kick it off with this intro section, can kind of break it into a few parts. It's going to be based around this G chord, and we'll just be hitting the bottom part of it with the 3E, 3B, and the open G. Okay, and it's a real loose feel here, and we'll do this little sliding pull-off riff where we go 3 on the B to 5, back to 3, and then pull off to open. And if you hit the high E under it, no big deal. Okay, and then just add a little extra 3 open pull off on the B. Alright, then we'll come up to G, slide that 4 to 2 to open, back to 2. Alright, and hang there for a sec. Then we do a 2 open G, land on the 2 of the D with the open G under it, so it's kind of this middle part of a C chord. And then you can throw in a little faint open G there again. And then we come back to our G by doing a open G and D with the 2 on the D with the G, back to the opens. Okay, so slowly. So then we'll repeat that, a good 2 times, about 2.5, because on the half of that final time, we get all the way to the section where we, just before we hit that final G. So we'll do our alright, and at this part we're going to get into our, our main progression. Okay, so once the, the final part of the intro starts, it starts to get reminiscent of what the verse is doing. We're going to land on this bottom half of an F, so 3D, 2G, and the 1s and the B and the E. Okay, we hold that for a moment, still pretty loose going on here. And then we'll do a pull off, 2 open on the G, land on a open to 2 of the D. Okay, and then this kind of becomes part of a C. And we'll pick through that C by hitting the open G, 1B, open G. And then just hit a G chord. Okay, verse comes along, and this is our main riff basically. And it's all based around this F now, and we're still hitting that bottom half with the 3, 2, and the 1s. But as soon as we hit it, we do a pull off from the 2 of the G to open. Alright, and then we just kind of strum throughout that, and it becomes like a F suspended second with that open G involved now. Now we just land on a G chord. And you can strum it and then just kind of hit like the high end of it again. Alright, and we just cruise through that progression for a good chunk of that final intro section and the verse and all that. Alright, once the chorus gets here, it's this fun progression. And I like to include the bass note with it. I think it sounds pretty cool. So basically we're just hitting 5 chords because all we're doing is like the bass note on the E and then the B and the E string here. If you hit some incidental like open G or open D in there, not a huge deal, no big deal. But basically we'll just do it like this. We'll start in the G and hit the 3 on the low E, 3 on the high E, and then add that 3B. And like I said, if you hit some open middle strings, it's not the end of the world. Alright, so we'll hit that, come on up to 5s now for the A. Okay. Alright, bring it all the way up to 8s now. Alright, and when we strum that, then we're going to come up to the high section here, the B and E, and we'll make that 8 on the high E a 7. And if you don't want to, hang on that bass note anymore, if it's an issue, don't worry about it. I like to keep it going though. Alright, and then the bass note, it switches to a D now, so we'll hit that open middle D. And we form like a D chord shape, like we would here. But up here now with the 7G and eventually 7 on the E and the 8 on the B. But we're going to do an initial little pull off where we go the 8 on the high E to the 7. Right, and then just strum the 7s with the 8 couple more times, mixing that little bass note. All right, and then just kind of repeat that little riff there again, the 8 to 7. And after that initial chorus, we get these like variants that happen with the main verse riff. We'll start with our same F little pattern, the pull off the 2 open with the F shape here. But now we're going to add some little fun things at the end after we hit the G. All right, a little reminiscent scale at the very beginning where we do our B slide, the 3 up to 5 to 3, slide the 4 2 open on the G. Just a kind of variation of it. All right, and that's kind of the first one you can do. Second one, same thing all the way up to the G. And at this point we can add this little sus4 that mixes in there where we just kind of land like a hammer onto a 1 of the B. So you're going to have to like do this shape with the G. Get the pinky involved if you want. Or just, hit the bass notes of it. We're just going to bounce around like that, the 1 to opens, 1 to opens. Okay. And the final variant, same thing all the way. And we get to do a cool little like country bend now where we do bend the 2 on the G while having the 3 on the B under it. Okay, you just bend it and hold it at the top, release it, pull off to open. Alright, so fun little variants to tack on after the first chorus. Then we have an outro variant of the main pattern, where everything stays just like we usually do. Alright, but here we're going to throw in this little kind of walk down on the E string where you probably want to include the 3 on the B now with this G. Okay, and then we'll just drop that 3 on the E to a 2, holding everything else. Kind of looks like that C thing we did up here, but over here now at the end of the G. Okay, just a little thing that mixes in the final stretch there. And as we're fading out, we get a fun little lead thing that happens really close to the very beginning little lead part that we have, our same like 3 to 5, 3 open on the B. Okay, and then just slide the 4 2 open on the G. But then we come back, do a little 2 4 2 on the G, and then just land on this kind of C dissonant thing that happens where we're just hitting like the 2 on the D and then open everything under it.